Hello. Okay, here is my TV review of The Boys Season 4. I have already done a video on my initial thoughts on this season. I think it was the first 3 episodes. And I really kind of wanted to share how I was feeling about this season, because it does have a somewhat different direction when it comes to its story and how it tells the story of these characters and their journeys, I felt anyway. And for those that haven't watched that video, I will leave a link by here somewhere. But I feel like this season as a whole, it really sort of took kind of a step back when it came to the story. There was this somewhat of a looseness to how they were telling the story, and it was more of a focus on the characters and sort of their history, the trauma, what these characters are going through emotionally and mentally. This entire season for me was more of a character study, and it was sort of less focused on kind of driving that story forward. Like, the story is moving forward, but it's there in the background, and they were more focused on just having a bit of fun and sort of allowing us to really dig a little bit deeper into these characters. And that is something that's very evident right throughout, especially those first few episodes, and I found myself just really enjoying it. I felt like the first episode was a little messy when it comes to certain characters' motivations and certain situations that our characters, like Frenchie for example, ended up in. It was a bit of a bumpy start, but as the season gets going, I just found myself having a hell of a lot of fun. And that kind of really sums up season 4 of The Boys for me. Fun. It is a hell of a lot of fun. There are a couple of episodes where you've got flying farm animals. It's silly, it's over the top, but it really did make me laugh. Like, I feel like this is, for me anyway, personally, the funniest season. When it comes to the humour, it's top notch, and there are certain characters' moments and character sort of exchanges that just really did make me laugh, and it's all down to the line delivery from the cast and just the writing as well. But when it does come to the writing, for me personally, I don't think, even though it delivers with the humour, I don't think it's quite as strong as the writing has been in previous seasons. And a lot of that kind of just ties into sort of how I ended up feeling by the end of this season. It's quite funny actually, because everything that I actually found myself really liking and enjoying and just having a really good time with, once we get into those last few episodes, the last 3 episodes of this season, everything that I found myself liking about this season to start with sort of played into why I feel like the season did have quite a bumpy conclusion. Like, there were aspects to the story and how certain characters' journeys were wrapping up with their conclusions, and just sort of certain consequences and sort of actions and motivations when it comes to characters, and sort of how it all plays out in those last few episodes, especially the final episode. Even though I still found myself enjoying it, due to how they approached this season and everything that I found myself really liking, it does unfortunately at the same time sort of ended up being an issue for me in those last few episodes, because everything was starting to feel quite rushed and earned in places, and it was lacking this kind of energy and momentum that the previous seasons have had as well, due to that kind of the approach and that looseness to how they were telling the story within this season. It's not a disaster and it doesn't fall flat or anything like that. It still somewhat works, but it's just about holds together for me, and I was like, it was kind of just lacking that energy and momentum and build-up that I felt like I was really needed. Even when it comes to sort of these emotional moments between certain characters, was sort of lacking the weight that I really felt like it needed because of how it all played into the story. So yeah, it was as a result of how I felt like they approached this season. It ended up lacking that weight and that emotional weight that I felt like it really needed, and to have the impact that I felt like it really needed. Am I still really excited for season 5? Fuck yeah. Like, I really did enjoy this season. I have got issues with it. There is flaws, but it's quite funny because my positives play into the flaws. but I am so damn excited for season 5, and there's just so many different possibilities of where they could go with the story in season 5. Apparently, from what I've read, I think it's going to be the final season. I'm not 100% sure if that's being confirmed, but if it is, like, you've got so many different sort of possibilities and directions with sort of how these characters are going to play a part with season 5. For example, Ashley, who've just taken V. I absolutely fucking love her character, by the way. She's absolutely great in this season, and this is one episode in Tech Knight's basement, and it is so fucking hysterical, just the way she delivers the line. It almost came across as if it was improvised, just the way in which she sort of brings the character to life in these moments and delivers the humour. She is absolutely great in this show. You've got A-Train, who's run off. You've got Homelander's son, and that's quite an interesting relationship going on there with Homelander, his son, and Billy, and sort of that dynamic. But yeah, there's a lot that it does in that final episode in regards to his characters and how certain characters sort of end up at the end of that final that really do get me excited for the 5th and from what I believe is going to be the final season of The Boys. I've absolutely adored this show as a whole. But there was one thing that I was really missing with this season, and that it was that kind of constant sort of sense of threat and dread. Especially when it comes to the character of Homelander. Even when he's not on the screen in those previous seasons, there's always that sense of danger and threat and dread of what it is that this man, this sort of super being, you know, can do. And a lot of that was done through Anthony Starr's stellar performance. Anthony Starr as Homelander is incredible. Like, I absolutely dig his performance. But I just feel like this season, that threat that was sort of always there, that sense of dread, was just a little less present here. It's a little less suffocating. Anthony Starr once again delivers as Homelander. He's great at creating this intimidating and unpredictable presence. But it's this season's approach with the story and its characters like Homelander that takes away from that sense of dread and uneasiness that feeds into that momentum of the story within the season, which they've done previously. And so that was the one thing that I was really missing, was sort of, like, what I'm trying to say is that the writing and Anthony Starr's performance as Homelander and his involvement, obviously, which plays a major part with the story, or the overall story, with those previous 3 seasons, the way they did it, it would sort of really kind of give this kind of tension and momentum and energy throughout the season that would just build as every episode went on. And they did such a fantastic job at putting you on edge. Like, whenever Anthony Starr's on the screen, just the way in which he brings the character to life and conveys these sort of subtle sort of emotions and sort of nuanced expressions with his character, it was incredible. And I just felt like that tension and that energy and that kind of sense of threat, due to how they approached the story and these characters within season 4, it kind of just wasn't as suffocating, like I said, or as present as it has been. And I've always been a massive fan of the humour within this show. It's satirical humour and how they infuse our current political climate within this, into the story and within the humour, and how they sort of just use it to kind of really poke fun at the left but also poke fun at the right. It doesn't take either side. Some people may disagree with me here. I just feel like the way in which they reflect our current political climate within the story, I think it's done in a very smart way, and it's very neutral, it's very balanced. Like I said, it takes the piss out of both sides. When you are taking on themes that do reflect the world that we're currently in, that will sort of, you know, it challenges people. I feel like the show is going to challenge everyone, no matter where you are on the political in the political spectrum. And I just feel like the show does it in a very smart and clever way, and in a way that just really made me laugh. Like, it is incredibly funny. So yeah, they are my thoughts on season 4 of The Boys. I had a hell of a lot of fun with this season. It is a flawed experience. But again, it's like a lot of what I liked played into my issues, and as a result, I'd say the last 4 to 3 episodes did have this kind of messiness to them. They did feel a little bit rushed. Certain characters' decisions felt perhaps a little unearned or unexpected. I mean, you could say the same for the first episode, mine. There was somewhat of a messiness to the overall season, but it's also a hell of a lot of fun, and they really did kind of hone in on the humour, I felt. For me personally, this is the funniest season, and I just found myself enjoying spending more time with these characters and getting to know them more. Like, so I would say in this first 5 episodes, we do get some really kind of nice character moments between certain characters. You know, there's this really nice moment between Billy and Ryan, and you got some really kind of emotional moments between certain characters, but unfortunately when it comes to sort of how the story sort of evolves and wraps up in those last few episodes, it just sort of almost somewhat worked in a way, but at the same time lacked the weight that I felt like it needed. So yeah, look, enough of rambling on from me. They are my thoughts on The Boys Season 4, and I will be giving The Boys Season 4 a 7 out of 10. So yeah, they are my thoughts on The Boys Season 4, but what did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you agree or disagree with anything I've said? Then please let me know in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to watch future movie and TV reviews from just some random Welsh geek rambling on, then please hit the subscribe button. It will mean an awful lot to me. I'm hoping to hit 500 by the end of the year, and at the same time I think I'm going to do a Q&A video as well. So as soon as I hit 500 subscribers, I'll do a Q&A video. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So my next movie reviews are going to be for Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2 Director's Cuts. I'm going to see if these movies are any better. I mean, they were quite disappointing. I have got my reviews up for those if you want to check them out. But I'm going to revisit the movies in sort of the way Zack Snyder wanted us to, though at this point it's becoming a little bit more of a kind of a gimmick, you could say. And I'll also have a movie review for Borderlands, which releases next weekend. And I'll also have a review for M. Night Shyamalan's latest Trap, which I'm really looking forward to. Especially the latest trailer. I really like the latest trailer for Trap. And I am a fan of M. Night Shyamalan, so yeah, really looking forward to checking that out. I was going to have a review up. In my last video, I did say I was going to do a review for I Saw the TV Glow. Unfortunately, I must have got the release dates mixed up. It doesn't actually come out here in the UK until, I think it's next Monday, which is a very odd day for a film to be released. But yeah, I Saw the TV Glow. I will have a review up for that, but that won't be until next week. So yeah, that's it from me. A lot planned, and again, thank you so much for watching, and thanks for everyone that have subscribed over to my channel recently. It means an awful lot. Like I just said, I'm hoping to hit 500 by the end of the year, and when I hit that 500, I'm going to do a Q&A video. So any questions, send them to me, whether it be through Instagram, Twitter, email, and so yeah. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll be catching you guys soon.